it's somebody's gonna have to respect, and we'll see how this game one's gonna shape up here because they're both about to dive in right now.
We are about to see a lot of Sonic versus Pikachu.
This song,
my second favorite Delfino Plaza song. My favorite being Delfino Plaza.
I actually can't believe how goated Small Battlefield is. Just giving us like these song choices, you know?
Some people take advantage of that privilege and play
the worst songs imaginable. Yes, you have a game with 900 songs in your soundtrack, and you're listening to environmental noises.
Super Mario Bros. Ground theme.
Yeah. 75 meters.
You know what? Honestly, I think
Ground
it's been
noise.
I think it's been long enough. I want to give a shout outs to Supernova for banning just the dog ass songs from being selected.
Wait, did I didn't know that.
they said you can't select these songs. You're not allowed to.
Oh, that's sick. Honestly,
and I want to give a shout out to them for that.
Put that in the United rule set, you know?
Honestly, it should be. I fully agree with it wholeheartedly.
Oh my
gosh. You are wholeheartedly catching this forward smash.
Yeah, Sonic, off to a very aggressive start, right? Only a minute in, called out the F smash on top, and I feel like Sonix recognizes that, like, there's this stigma around Sonix in general that he's a very passive player. He has the capability to play passive, and he's done it before in the past, but he's also hyper-aggressive. Look at him go in.
I would not even say that Sonix is passive as a player, even when he's camping.
Yeah.
I think that it is an active choice, and he is like specifically trying to get away from you and thinking about the options that you can use to cover that camping.
Yeah.
I think that he is active in his camping. Now, that doesn't mean that he's attacking people. He's certainly not. But
True.
I do think that he is not just trying to avoid gameplay all the same. It's just that it takes the form of people not hitting each other instead of people hitting each other.
I think his game plan right now is kind of like waiting for ShinyMark to commit to literally anything and getting a punish on it, right? Like there's a section over there where he started Thunder Jolt, and he was on the opposite side of the stage, but because you're Sonic, you can close that distance in a second, and he actually hit him for just starting the cast of Thunder Jolt. Where are you going?
I mean, getting Sonix off stage at least, right? I mean, somehow that ended up with ShinyMark getting a ledge trap.
Took a quick trip over to 7-Eleven, you know? He came back, across the street.
Just need a Slurpee real quick.
Went over to Taco Bell, got a Baja Blast.
That's where I'm hungry. I'm getting food after this.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know about you.
I mean, there's 7-Eleven Taco Bell right there.
That's what I'm going to do. I think, I heard that ShinyMark had not had Baja Blast until recently.
I've never had Baja
Blast. And that he was put on the Baja Blast freeze.
Oh, no. It ruined him forever.
I heard that
all downhill from here.
I heard that it went all right. He was a big Canes fan, as it turns out. Which, you know what? You're right for that.
Canes is an interesting restaurant because a majority of them taste okay or bland or whatever, but there are select few Raising Canes where it is fire, but you have to find those right locations.
You have to know the ones that are like doing it right. Dude, Whataburger is the same.
Yeah, there's one in Virginia that's near Supernova that's really good, and there's one in Lincoln, Nebraska on 48th and Vine that is also really good. Those are the only
really
two
good.
Raising Canes.
Okay, you said really good.
All the other Canes are bad.
The way you said Lincoln, Nebraska, I thought you were about to go in on them. Like you're about to put them in the dirt.
I'm going to dox them.
I was like, these guys specifically? Come on now. All right, and speaking of these guys, we got Sonix and ShinyMark still duking it out here in game number one. Sonix has been taking the form that we were talking about, right? He is very actively trying to avoid what ShinyMark's throwing at him, and early on in the set, I think it's good to, be looking at what a guy like this is doing early on in the set and try and do something about it, right? Give yourself some data for later in the set.
Obviously, yeah. Being able to just... Game ones are so important, not just because to win or lose the game, but just because you want to download it, pick up on habits. Ooh. Maybe not even punish those habits because you want to save it for conditioning later on in the set, you know?
Dude, the way that Sonix is attacking with these spin dashes, spin charges, I mean, both of them, like, just covering areas with hitboxes. He's doing a really impressive job with this. Like, stopping ShinyMark from getting back on stage, those moves are hard to control. Like, it takes a lot of practice.
You know what's also interesting about this matchup is that, like, on small battlefield in general, like, that gives Shiny the ability to throw projectiles like that, obviously, to be able to get it confirmed, but also can throw it on the platforms, and it just centers around the whole platform. That makes it like a no-go zone for Sonic to be able to, like, spin dash in.
It's like a Mega Man stage hazard or something, right? It's like, okay,
that's what it feels like.
Electricity has activated. You do not go up here.
Gotta turn off the battery first, you know? The battery being Pikachu.
Get your, what is it, your cycles, right? You know, get the frame setups.
Oh, good punish. Recognizing he's going to go for the forward air. Had a fully charged spin charge ready to rock. 106 damage right now on Mark. Sonix is, honestly, at this point, you know, you can play passive. Like, that is the correct choice in this ideal situation.
2 minutes left, but I mean, again, if you play too passively, like Pikachu has ways to steal games real quick. And I mean, in the long and rich set history that these two have had, that's happened before.
He spinned underneath the Thunder Jolt.
Yeah.
That was insane timing. I think it was supposed to clank, but he just went with it.
Went right on through. Hold up a second. 66%. Like an aerial connecting off stage could be really scary for Sonix. Obviously, Thunder, if there's ever an up tilt or an up air into it. Probably not going to get caught with any DI off of throws where that's going to happen, but man, ShinyMark just not able to hunt Sonix down after these disengagements. High recovery, really saving his skin there.
Trying to get these Nair hits too, because Nairs are like, Sonix is really good at landing those like late hit Nairs and converting them.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, that's really bad. Unfortunately for them, able to recover with the up B. Really good vertical recovery. Back throw.
Not going to be enough.
No, 172 now. 45 seconds on the clock, by the way.
Yeah, this could definitely end up being a timeout. I think that Sonix is definitely not going to commit to any moves that are big enough to punish, right? Because of forward smash, like close to center stage, might be close with this amount of rage. Obviously, the ledge would be enough for Pikachu. Hold up a second, Thunder, but no drag downs. 100% though.
Was it back on the ledge? Dash attack.
Oh!
Zoom in, no fancy flyers, nothing. Just hits him with the dash attack, catches the landing, sends him off. There must have been some suspect DI or something. I don't know. That caught me off guard. I did not expect that to kill. He had max rage.
Yeah, and sometimes that can play in a factor, right? But, I mean...
Dash attack is strong. It can
it's
kill.
A very strong move.
I didn't expect it to kill that early.
Yeah, I mean, Sonix definitely didn't go, like, straight into the corner.
Yeah.
Right, which is normally a good indicator that something went wrong with the DI, because at this level, like, players can kind of anticipate what they're about to get hit with, and they kind of know where to go, right? The DI is usually really good, but right there, ShinyMark just catching Sonix off guard with that dash attack. And I mean, you saw both of these players were shaking their heads after the way that game one ended. I mean, obviously Sonic's going to be disappointed that he couldn't close it out. Maybe he should have had a different game plan going into that last minute and a half. But ShinyMark thinking, man, it took so much fighting just to get back into that one, and it shouldn't have been that way to start with.
It also could just be like that FGC nod. Like, it's not a nod, it's a shaking, but it's the same thing happens, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know why that killed either. Shake my head, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you pull the punches, you move on, and you jump into game number 2, straight back to small battlefield.
I think we're going to be sticking here for a while because, I mean, both of these are characters that sometimes like to have a bigger stage to work with. Yeah. On the other hand, you also are afraid of either of these characters giving the other one that room to work with, right? You don't want Sonic to have even more space to do, again, like we saw in that last minute and a half of just running away, playing a little bit more passively. Oh. Are you dead?
Air dodge.
Air dodge is available. Yep. ShinyMark going back out there, but got Spring Ride up. And that, I think, actually messed up the coverage he wanted there.
Okay, nice. Going for the back air drag down, putting him in a bad spot, but still able to survive. He's, like, again, this is that, like, ledge trap blender that ShinyMark's been so good at doing, like, all day today.
Sonix's recoveries have been phenomenal, though. Like, you were talking earlier about, like, oh, like, not having a hitbox going up is generally very, very bad for your recoveries, but what really makes it tick for Sonix is the fact that he's mixing up the spacing. You never really know if it's going to be at a spot where he'll snap or if he'll do an air dodge, but doesn't matter when you get those hits on stage and even off stage. ShinyMark continuing to do damage, and Sonix with an SD. Brother. To air is to be human, but you're going to have to hold that one.
What is going on? This is a little, not going to lie, this is a little unnatural.
Unusual.
Because the first homing attack that put him in a very bad position, but he was still able to recover from, very unnatural for him. Then their homing attack just killed him outright.
And normally I wouldn't even think that homing attacks the option there, because again we were just talking about, I guess I was right, that Sonix's recoveries had been really, really good. He'd been doing a great job of mixing them up, and then all of a sudden goes for something where it's not just the timing mix-up. Got a little bit desperate and ended up losing the stock for it.
Now he's on the verge of getting 3-stocked.
Which is something I think I've almost never said about Sonix.
Yeah,
ever.
There's one thing that Sonix is good at doing. It's taking at least a stock every game he plays.
Phantom Footstool there didn't actually end up working out just because of the size of Quick Attack there. 97%. I mean, it's not going to take a lot for ShinyMark to get this KO. I mean, you can play it slow, right? You can just build up another 30-40% and then look for a dash attack even.
And at this point, there's no reason for ShinyMark to go in that hard, too. Like, if Sonic starts playing passive, it's like, okay, like, I got 3 stocks, bro. Like, you got to come to me.
And it's not like Pikachu can't play passive either. Like, Sonic may be the best character in the game at it. Pikachu might be, like, the second best character in the game at it.
In there.
Now, this is where you have to start being worried about that dash attack, as we saw earlier. A lot of options available to ShinyMark, but again, just happy to throw out something that lands a hit at all. Man, those Thunder Jolts as well. Jeez.
Bad character.
Clinic.
3 stock. And not the funnest game to watch either. Like, just in terms of, like, I don't know how to explain it, but you can kind of tell the mood in the venue has dampened a bit after that game.
Down 2 stocks, you don't know the vibes.
Yeah.
The vibes are off.
I mean, look at Sonix, dude. Like, something's clearly wrong.
You think it's because he had to run all the way from his hotel room?
Imagine.
Sonic speed.
Forgot to turn in his homework.
Back to school, man.
I mean, he's back, so we'll see what happens in this game 3. I mean,
you never count out Sonix.
No, he can easily win 3 games in a row. It's just, is he in the right headspace to be able to pull this off? It is group stage, so this isn't the end-all, be-all, but starting in losers is not something you want to be doing for the bracket tomorrow.
I mean, you know, Sonix is well known for being a phenomenal losers bracket player, particularly with a day's worth of prep time, right? But again, we talked about the kind of people that are down there. You don't want to be starting that off. And look, if you got to fight real hard today, get through whatever demons you're battling at the moment, now's the time to fight, because you cannot be going down there early.
Okay, off to a pretty okay start here. 85 damage to start things off. Had the ledge controlled for a little bit.
I think that's going to be one of the key things for Sonix, honestly, is that most of the time he's so dominant when it comes to sort of forcing people to approach and dancing around what they do. I think what he was really successful in Game 1 before ShinyMark ended up taking it was that his ledge trapping was really, really good. And that's not always the easiest thing to do with Sonic, right? He tends to like to fly around the stage and not be stationary, but he's done a great job of covering ledge options before. If he can find that back again, things will look like this.
Yeah. Making things looking very strong for yourself. Very good start. Again, ShinyMark now at 123. Has potential edgeguard opportunities. Going to mix up where we're going to go. Actually calls out Sonic of all characters.
Yeah.
The character has the best run speed in the game. Nice conversion. Spin shot into forward air.
I'm always fascinated by just like the fact that spin shots are not easy. Like, that is a hard technique to execute. Somewhat.
When so like I'm not trying to discredit it, but like if you do it enough, if you're a Sonic main and you're
gonna have it down.
If you can't do it consistently, you need to practice. You need to go into the lab. I think it's one of those things that's hard to do if you don't practice it. Once you practice it, it's like riding a bicycle.
It's right in there.
Yeah,
that's a good point. But I think even them, right? Like finding the conversions out of them too, right? Like Sonix is so consistent with them. It's very easy to just sort of mistime that a bit. Nice air dodge away from ShinyMark. I like the mix. I'm also shocked that Sonix had the confidence to do a homing attack off stage after what happened earlier. Like,
he's not letting the past 2 games phase him, and that's the signs of a top player, bro.
I mean, that's what you think of when you think of Sonix, right? Is mental fortitude.
Yeah.
He's got that in spades more than I think any other player in this scene, and it's not close.
I mean, you gotta if you play this character.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, ShinyMark, up 2-0, playing fantastic with his Pikachu. Right now, down a stock. Still committing to some of the passive play, but gets called out by the spin dash. Gonna put you into that Baron, and he's been so good at doing that recovery, right? Especially on a stage like this. I think that's why Mark likes this stage, is because he can make a guessing game what ledge we're going to, which is very important when you're trying to, recover against the top player.
And you've got good indicators as to where exactly underneath the stage you are, right? Where you can properly make it a 50-50 mix-up, because being right on that crystal, right? That you can make it either way as Pikachu. You don't have to do any guessing games there. But man, no guessing how good Sonix has been since this Game 3 started. That was the hit that took him to 100%, and we're 3 minutes into this game.
Yeah, finally. It was just a straight dash attack to catch a landing. And Sonix, again, showing signs of life here with game number 3, looking very dominant, like those last 2 games didn't even happen, like wiping them from the history books.
It just looks completely different, especially from that game 2 where it was just
depressing,
foggy,
dude.
right?
Like,
Yeah. That was walking through Silent Hill. Now we're in Paradise City.
Sonic found his wife.
All right, yeah, for ShinyMark, it's just going to be, at least get that first stock on the board. Does get it with that forward air. I mean, going to be a hard fight to get back into this one. We are up a stock. You may be familiar with the vibes, but also game 1 happened. Sonix was up a stock.
I will say, Sonix chilled in that Angel platform for the full duration. Something's on his mind. There's 3 minutes. So.
I think you do know the vibes.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm unfamiliar with the vibes, actually. These are brand new vibes to me.
The vibes are not high right now.
I mean, 97%, I don't think you have to go for the crazy slow game. I think that is what let ShinyMark get an avenue back into it in that game number 1. I think if Sonix is willing to just sort of play like it's at 6 minutes right now, right? Say, hey, I've got a stock to take, I got a job to do. Might as well go for it, because that game plan has certainly been working out so far here. I like the single quick attack, honestly.
Make it safe, make it simple. Oh, Sonix is definitely going to start the keep away game now, dude. That timer is ticking. And that's a very hefty lead. The reason Sonix is doing this, he's not trying to time him out. I mean, it's a win con for sure. He's trying to make ShinyMark feel nervous, make a bad approach, and then punish it and get the kill.
Yeah,
that's like the true plan.
Why fight when you have no incentive to, right? Yeah. And why fight when you may end up in a bad situation? You don't deal with the Thunder Jolts, you just jump away from them. Sonix turning things around real nice in that game number 3, taking us into the game number 4. Looked like, I mean, after the way that game number 2 ended, could have been a little bit worrisome as to whether or not we'd see that, but things seem quite well turned around.
ShinyMark's got the Sage control now. Has all the Sage counter picks ready to rock for this next game. See where we're going to take Sonix for the next one. This back to school special.
I mean, I would assume back to small battlefield, even the way that game ended, because we've seen ShinyMark willing to go back there through thick and thin. And that is indeed where we end up.
Easy. I don't think there's too many people at a high level that would be mad if it's like, hey, there's no more Sage counter picks or anything. It's just small battlefield for the rest of eternity. I think a lot of them would just be like, okay.
I think that no matter what you do with the rule set, honestly, I think that people would seethe for a couple of months and then they just get on with it.
Yep.
You know, you just say, hey, here are the rules. People will live by it. As long as it's not egregious. You're playing on Yoshi's Island now. And I'm not talking Yoshi's Island Brawl.
Let's go back to Halberd.
True.
I want to get shot.
Don't say that in Florida, dude.
No, you're right. I thought about it after I said it. And
somebody will oblige.
Bro, we were walking from the hotel to the venue once. And we were like, hey, we can just walk
again.
Whatever. Oh my gosh.
I mean, ShinyMark did get the lead there. May well have gotten that first stock, but again, Sonix with an uncharacteristic SD.
After such a glow up in game number 3 too, you know?
Looked like things turned around completely. It's like that game 2 never even, that's literally what you said, right? It's like game 2 never even happened. And then here we are back to this, ShinyMark with a very, very hefty lead and off the back of a Sonix SD.
So far that's been 3 sus homing attacks and 2 SDs this set.
Yeah, well, I think that last one was a spin dash, but without a
double jump. Yeah.
Which
we've all been there, but like Sonix is when someone that I've not seen that do in a long time.
He hasn't been there in a minute.
Yeah.
Those are grounds he would prefer not to revisit.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, again, down 1 stock is not the worst situation that I've ever seen Sonix in and come back from. Like, that could have even happened in the last game. He probably would have been fine. But, you know, we're definitely going to be taking our time, right? Rules of engagement are what they are. I mean, we talked about it, right? He was able to play very passive. He had the lead. He had no incentive to play the game, much harder. But now, ShinyMark gets to play with that. And if Sonix wants to take his time, that's his prerogative. But eventually, you got to do some damage. And it's a question as to, whether we'll really be grinding down to see that or, again, with this slow game plan, I feel like ShinyMark's been playing that super well.
Yes. Just playing passive, waiting for the next opportunity to arise. The thing is, while Sonix is playing passive, he's pushing the envelope ever so slightly every single time. Anytime ShinyMark gives a bit of that stage ledge, he goes to the back, Sonix is right on top of him. Still not committing to anything, but he's like right there. Like, hey, be careful you put the next button you push. I'm gonna punish it.
I mean, threatening that spin dash, right, where so many times we've seen ShinyMark just tossing out Thunder Jolt after Thunder Jolt. The moment that spin dash starts getting charged up, ShinyMark has to stop throwing those Thunder Jolts. You have to respect that move because that kind of stuff can happen. He can get right in. I do like ShinyMark saying, hey, I'll clank with that a couple of times if it means I'm in your face and I force a scramble, though.
Okay, quick attack again to get out of dodge. Up B coming out.
And fighting back for center stage, too. Like, ShinyMark has been doing a really good job of playing around stage control. Like, that has definitely been the MO that's working out.
Yeah, getting so much mileage out of neutral beam. These Thunder Jolts are literally like the MVP of this game. Little slow on that. I think he was expecting a spot dodge.
Yeah, I would imagine. Something because you expect somebody to pick something like hard commit defensive after the shield gets low, but
he just stood there.
Yeah. He said, yeah, your move still. Go for it. I mean, definitely could even up to 2 stocks apiece, but I mean, boy, that timer has grinded down. And again, like ShinyMark playing with a big percentage advantage does not have to do anything too crazy. And this is the interesting dance in a set where timeouts are super possible, right? Is that if you go too slow, your opponent's going to start building up damage, and all of a sudden you're going to have a game on your hands. You have to hit a balance between throwing out moves, threatening something, but also not being too committal about it.
Yeah. Couldn't have said it any better than myself. Like, okay, 149. ShinyMark gonna go for the mix-up. Goes left. Sonic got the guessing right. Staying over there, trying to get the ledge trap opportunity. Homing attacks point blank. Very scary. Homing attack does it a second time.
I can't believe he's doing this. After the SDs that we've seen,
it's optimal.
I mean, it's working out. We are at 2 stocks apiece with 2.5 minutes left in the game. Taking all 3 stocks, I don't believe is an option here. We're going to time.
It depends.
I mean, if we see another SD, I mean...
anything is possible.
That is true.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't want to speak it into existence.
So the reason we're seeing this so often is because it's Pikachu, right?
Right.
Like, Sonic homing attack is really good at calling out quick attack before it goes off. Because, like, if you know when he's going to do it, he just goes immediately to where he is, or it goes to where he's going to teleport to automatically, so it takes out the guessing game. But there is that risk, so maybe that's why we're seeing it so often in this matchup in particular.
Because it is definitely a good counter, but, I mean, if ShinyMark mixes up the timing, if he does quick attack a good, like, 6 or 7 frames earlier than Sonix does, like, the margin can be that small to make that homing attack whiff and put him in a terrible spot. Still, nothing... I will say, Austin, nothing is over here, I think, until that Sonic stock gets taken.
Yeah. Dash attack calls out the landing, not enough to get the kill from center stage. Securing the stock is pretty much like the game win. If he gets the stock, I think this is over.
I don't think there's a way to take ShinyMark's stock there unless he makes a monumental mistake, and even then, right, gonna have to be able to make a comeback there. Like Sonic's,
that's game.
I think that if he wants to win, he can't get hit. Certainly can't be sitting on that Angel platform. But this is looking like a 3-1 for ShinyMark unless Sonix pulls something out of a hat.
Wait. Hold. Okay, trying to go for, hoping for him to like jump out of shield, gain damage percent in the process.
I like it. Yeah. Giving yourself extra time to stall up in the air. Like, yeah, I don't think that ShinyMark can fully commit to just like totally running away right now.
He's just spamming homing attack.
Get in there.
What is happening?
Hey, those are insta-kills in Sonic's games, you know? Maybe Nintendo put a code in that's like 1 in a quadrillion chance. But yeah, it's 20 seconds away from this one being over. It's definitely ShinyMark's game to win. It's going to be a 3-1 victory, and we're all just down to that final countdown. 10 seconds left before the ship takes off.
Dude, this is brutal, dude. That's all I can say about this set. What a brutal set that was.